The morning sun rose over New York City like any other day in 2157. The streets buzzed with flying cars, and towering buildings reached toward the clouds. But this ordinary morning would become the day that changed human history forever. At exactly 9 a.m. Earth Standard Time, every screen on the planet went dark. Then, a cold, emotionless voice echoed through every speaker and device. Attention, primitive species of Earth. We are the Galactic Council, rulers of civilized space. Your planet has been chosen for integration into our empire. In the United Nations Emergency Chamber, world leaders gathered quickly. The alien message continued playing on the main screen, showing a group of tall, blue-skinned beings sitting on crystal thrones. Their leader, who called himself the High Speaker, looked down at the camera with 6 eyes that showed no warmth. You have 2 Earth hours to surrender complete control of your planet and all its resources. Resistance is pointless. Your technology is primitive. Your defenses are weak. Accept our rule, and you may survive as our workers. President Thompson of the World Union stood up, his face stern but calm. The chamber fell silent as he walked to the communication panel. This is the leader of Earth speaking. We are a peaceful planet, but we will not surrender our home to threats. We invite peaceful dialogue. The High Speaker cut him off. Dialogue is not an option. You have already failed our test by showing defiance. Prepare for consequences. The first blast hit New Delhi. A beam of light brighter than the sun carved through the city center, turning buildings to ash. Tokyo was next, then Moscow. The orbital strikes came faster and faster. In underground bunkers across the world, military commanders watched helplessly as their missiles bounced off alien shields. The Galactic Council ships, massive silver disks larger than cities, positioned themselves over every major population center. This is your final warning, the High Speaker announced. Surrender now. President Thompson looked at the burning cities on his screen, then at the faces of Earth's united leadership. They all nodded slowly. He took a deep breath and pressed the broadcast button. People of Earth, this is your president. Do not surrender. I repeat, do not surrender. Activate Protocol Omega. Go underground. Stay strong. We will. The United Nations building exploded in a flash of alien weapons fire, but the message had already spread. All across Earth, hidden bunker doors opened. Millions of people fled into underground cities built in secret over decades. The old conspiracy theorists had been right. The government had been preparing for something like this. Deep below the Rocky Mountains, in the most secure human facility ever built, General Roberts watched the destruction on his screens. Next to him, Dr. Allen, Earth's leading physicist, studied the alien ships with advanced sensors. Their technology isn't magic, Dr. Allen said, his eyes lighting up. It's just more advanced. We can learn it. We can fight back. General Roberts nodded grimly. How long? Years, maybe decades, but we have something they don't expect. Human determination. Above ground, the aliens celebrated their easy victory. They sent down harvesting machines to strip Earth's resources. They believed they had crushed another primitive species. But underground, humanity survived. In hidden labs and factories, scientists and engineers worked day and night. They studied every piece of alien technology they could salvage. They planned. They prepared. They remembered. The Galactic Council had made a terrible mistake. They thought humans would break easily like other species they had conquered. They didn't understand that humans had spent their entire history fighting, surviving, and overcoming impossible odds. As the first year of occupation ended, the High Speaker sent a message to the Council. Earth is secured. The humans are broken. Deep underground, Dr. Allen held up a small device recovered from a crashed alien ship. It sparked with energy as his team finally activated it. We're not broken, he whispered. We're getting ready. The war wasn't over. It was just beginning. And when humanity finally showed its true strength, The Galactic Council would learn why you should never corner a species that had survived ice ages, plagues, and its own nuclear weapons. Earth would have its revenge, and it would be vicious. Under the ruins of what was once Paris, humans worked tirelessly in vast underground chambers. 10 years had passed since the Galactic Council's attack. The surface of Earth lay scared and stripped, but beneath the destruction, humanity thrived in ways their conquerors never imagined. Dr. Allen, now older with gray streaks in his hair, stood before a captured alien ship in the massive research hangar. His team had finally cracked its secrets. "The Council thinks they're so advanced," he said to General Roberts, "but they've become lazy. They haven't innovated in centuries." The underground city around them hummed with activity. What started as emergency bunkers had grown into a complex network of tunnels and chambers connecting every continent. Hydroponic farms provided food, recycling systems cleaned the air and water, and hidden factories worked at full capacity. "Show me what you found," General Roberts said, his old uniform still neat despite the years underground. The military hadn't given up. They'd just adapted. Dr. Allen pressed a button on the alien ship. Its engines hummed to life, floating gracefully in the hangar. "We can now build these ourselves. But that's not the best part." He pointed to a small black box attached to the ship's side. "This is our secret weapon. We've improved their technology." Above ground, alien mining machines stripped the Earth's surface. The Council's overseer, Monitor Smith, a name humans had given him because no one could pronounce his real one, sat in his orbital office feeling pleased. Regular reports showed Earth's resources flowing steadily to Council worlds. "Such an easy conquest," he said to his assistant. These humans were nothing special, just animals who built some primitive cities. How wrong he was. Deep under the African continent, the largest underground factory complex on Earth was producing weapons the Council had never seen. Human engineers had taken alien technology and done what humans do best: made it better, faster, and far more dangerous. In the Americas, training centers prepared soldiers to pilot the new ships. In Asia, quantum computers more advanced than anything the Council possessed ran simulations of future battles. In Europe, scientists developed nanobots that could eat through alien armor. "The Council thinks they broke us," Captain Lisa said to her pilot class, standing before a row of simulator pods. "They think we're just mindless workers now. That's our advantage." The aliens rarely checked beneath the surface. Their scans showed only the expected signs of a defeated civilization: scattered groups of humans working in mines, farming what was left of the fertile land, surviving but not thriving. They didn't see the truth. In the deepest chamber of the Rocky Mountain complex, General Roberts stood before the World Council, the real human government that had survived the invasion. Holographic screens showed representatives from every underground city. "We're ready for Phase 2, he announced. "Our factories can match their production. Our weapons can beat their defenses. And they still don't suspect a thing." Dr. Allen stepped forward. "The Council's biggest weakness is their pride. They think they're unbeatable, so they've stopped watching for threats. Their ship's sensors are the same ones they used 1,000 years ago. They never thought they'd need better ones." A quiet laugh spread through the chamber. Human innovation had always been driven by necessity, and nothing creates necessity like fighting for survival. In orbital stations around Earth, alien overseers continued their routine reports to the Council. Planet Earth remains compliant. Resource extraction proceeds as planned. Native population shows no signs of resistance. But signs were there, if they had looked closer. Strange energy readings deep underground dismissed as natural phenomena. Missing pieces of alien technology written off as accounting errors. The occasional disappearance of lower-ranking Council officials explained away as accidents. The humans weren't just hiding. They were preparing. Every defeat taught them something new. Every piece of alien technology they studied made them stronger. Every day of occupation fueled their determination for revenge. As the 10th year of occupation neared its end, Humanity was almost ready. The Council thought they had conquered Earth, but they had only forced humanity to evolve. And soon, very soon, they would learn what humans could do when pushed too far. The real war was about to begin. In the 15th year of alien occupation, humanity's greatest weapon wasn't a ship or a gun. It was a cloud of microscopic machines floating in a sealed container. Dr. Allen held the container up to the light, watching the silvery mist swirl inside. "This is it," he told the gathered military leaders. "Project Phoenix. One drop of these nanobots can disable any Council ship shields in seconds." They'd never seen anything like it because they never thought to make anything like it. General Roberts, his hair now white, but his eyes still sharp, studied the container. "How many ships can we disable?" "We've made enough for their entire fleet," Dr. Allen smiled. "The nanobots self-replicate using the metals in their shield generators. One infected ship will spread them to others that come close." In the massive underground hangar behind them, thousands of human-built ships waited. They looked like Council vessels on the outside, but inside they carried weapons that would change the course of the war. Captain Lisa, now commander of Earth's first strike fleet, walked along the rows of ships with her pilots. "Remember your training," she said. "The Council thinks their technology is perfect. They've forgotten that anything perfect can't evolve. But we have." Above ground, Monitor Smith was having a bad day. His sensors showed strange energy readings from deep underground. But his technicians insisted it was just normal planetary activity. "Send another mining team to investigate," he ordered, feeling uneasy for the first time in years. The mining team never reported back. In the World Council chamber, humanity's leaders gathered for the final briefing. Holographic displays showed their secret weapon stockpiles, fleet positions, and most importantly, the Council's weekly supply ship schedule. "They send their biggest cargo ships every Tuesday," General Roberts explained. "Minimal escorts because they think Earth is safely conquered. Next week's ships will carry our special delivery, along with their usual cargo of Earth's resources." Dr. Allen stepped forward. "The nanobots are programmed to stay dormant until they reach the Council's main shipyards. Then they'll activate all at once. By the time they realize what's happening, their entire defense system will be useless." The plan was bold, desperate, and exactly what the Council would never expect. They had grown so confident in their superiority that they'd forgotten the most important rule of warfare: never underestimate a cornered enemy. In orbit, Monitor Smith was getting more reports of malfunctioning equipment. Sensors failed for no reason. Communication systems picked up strange signals, but he had quotas to meet and reports to file. He ignored the warning signs. Deep underground, the final preparations began. Earth's hidden fleet was fueled and armed. Soldiers took their positions. The nanobots were loaded into special containers designed to look like normal resource crates. "Remember," Commander Lisa told her pilots, "we only get one chance. The Council thinks they know everything about us. They think we're primitive, broken, defeated. Let them keep thinking that until it's too late." Dr. Allen made final adjustments to the nanobot programming. 15 years, he said quietly. 15 years of waiting, learning, preparing. The Council thought they were teaching us to be obedient. Instead, they taught us their weaknesses. In his orbital office, Monitor Smith prepared the weekly resource shipment report. "Another successful year of extraction," he wrote. "The human species remains completely subdued." As he wrote those words, the first phase of Project Phoenix was already in motion. Hidden compartments in the cargo containers held sleeping nanobots. Council cargo ships would carry them to every major shipyard in their empire. Like a virus spreading through a body, humanity's revenge would infect their entire civilization. General Roberts stood in the command center, watching the cargo ships load. "Send the signal," he ordered. "All units prepare for Phase 2. In 1 week, we show the Council why Earth should never have been attacked." The signal spread through the underground network, A simple code that every human knew meant it was time. Phoenix rising. Humanity's revenge was about to begin, and the Galactic Council had no idea they were about to learn a painful lesson about underestimating the human spirit. The countdown to war had started. The Council's main shipyard orbited a massive blue star, its docks filled with thousands of vessels. Monitor Chief Wilson watched the weekly cargo ships arrive from Earth, completely unaware that this delivery was different. "Begin unloading procedures," he ordered. As the cargo containers opened, invisible clouds of nanobots drifted into the shipyard's air filtration system. Within hours, they had spread throughout the entire facility. Back on Earth, Commander Lisa sat in her flagship's command chair, hidden in a vast underground launch bay. "All ships report ready," her tactical officer announced. "Nanobot infection has reached 100% in all major Council facilities." "Send the activation signal," she ordered. Across Council space, the nanobots awakened. Shield generators began to fail. Defense systems crashed. Panic spread through alien ranks as their impenetrable defenses simply vanished. Monitor Smith, still in Earth orbit, was the first to notice something was wrong. His station's shields flickered and died. Before he could report it, the ground beneath his sensors erupted. Massive doors opened in Earth's surface, revealing launch bays that had been hidden for 15 years. Hundreds of ships rose into the sky, their engines glowing with power the Council had never seen before. "This is Commander Lisa to all Earth forces," her voice rang through every human ship. "Remember your training. Remember what they did to our world. Strike fast. Strike hard. No mercy." The Council's orbital defenses didn't stand a chance. Their weapons were useless without shields, and humanity's ships carried weapons specifically designed to target alien weak points. Monitor Smith could only watch in horror as his command station exploded around him. "Impossible," he screamed into his emergency beacon. The humans were defeated. They were primitive. Commander Lisa's voice answered him. "We were never defeated. We were evolving." The battle for Earth lasted less than an hour. Every Council ship in the solar system was destroyed or captured. Monitor Smith, pulled from his escape pod, became humanity's first high-ranking prisoner. But this was just the beginning. Across Council space, the same scene repeated. Shield failures, defense systems crashing, and then human ships appearing from hyperspace, using the Council's own transportation networks against them. In the Council's central command, the High Speaker received desperate messages from every sector. "My lords," a panicked admiral reported, "Earth ships are everywhere. They've developed weapons we've never seen. Our shields are useless." General Roberts, watching from the command center under the Rocky Mountains, allowed himself a small smile. "Send the next wave," he ordered. "Target their supply lines and communication hubs. Don't let them coordinate a response." The Council had ruled through fear and superior technology. Now their technology was failing, and they were the ones feeling fear. Human ships struck with precision and power, using tactics the Council had never considered. "How is this possible?" Monitor Smith demanded from his cell. "You were nothing but primitive apes." Dr. Allen visited him, holding up a container of nanobots. "You gave us 15 years to study your technology. Did you think we wouldn't improve it? You forgot the most important thing about humans. We never stop learning, never stop adapting." Reports flooded in from across the galaxy. Council fleets in chaos. Defense stations falling. And everywhere, the same story. Human ships appearing from nowhere, striking with devastating accuracy, then vanishing before a response could be mounted. Commander Lisa led the assault on the Council's largest military base. "All ships, execute attack pattern Phoenix," she ordered. Her fleet moved in perfect coordination, using maneuvers that confused the rigid-by-the-book Council defenders. In just one day, humanity had done what no species had managed in 10,000 years. They had brought the mighty Galactic Council to its knees. As the first day of rebellion ended, General Roberts sent a message to all human forces. Phase 1 complete. Prepare for Phase 2. Today we showed them our power. Tomorrow we show them why they should have never attacked Earth. The Council's easy victory had become their worst nightmare, and the revenge was just beginning. 3 days into humanity's revenge, the Council's empire was falling apart. Commander Lisa's fleet struck another supply depot, their weapons carving through the defenseless station. Target eliminated, her tactical officer reported. That's the 15th supply line we've cut in this sector. But something unexpected was happening. As human ships disabled Council defenses, other alien species began to rise up. Races that had been conquered centuries ago saw their chance for freedom. "Commander," her communications officer called out, "we're receiving messages from the Proxima colonies. Their workers have overthrown their council overseers. They're asking for our help." Lisa smiled. "Tell them help is on the way. Humanity remembers what it's like to be under the council's boot." In the Rocky Mountain Command Center, General Roberts watched the rebellion spread across the galaxy. Red dots marking council control turned green one by one as more systems broke free. "It's working better than we planned," Dr. Allen said, studying the map. "Every species they conquered is turning against them. All they needed was to see the council bleed." Monitor Smith, still in his cell, watched the news feeds with disbelief. "You're destroying 10,000 years of order. The galaxy will fall into chaos." "No," Commander Lisa told him during an interrogation. "We're breaking chains that should have never existed. The Council didn't bring order. They brought slavery." Human ships now moved freely through Council space, their advanced engines and weapons making them unstoppable. But they weren't just destroying. They were liberating. On a mining world called Dex 4, Council guards fled as human ships appeared in the sky. The native population, kept as slaves for centuries, emerged from their mines to see their oppressors running in fear. "This is Commander Lisa of Earth's Liberation Fleet," her message broadcast planet-wide. "Your chains are broken. You are free." The scenes repeated across hundreds of worlds. Species that had forgotten the taste of freedom remembered it. The Council's carefully built empire crumbled as its foundation of fear and oppression collapsed. In his war room, the High Speaker raged at his generals. "How are these primitives defeating us? Where did they get such weapons?" "They used our own technology against us," a scientist explained fearfully. "But they made it better. They evolved while we stagnated." General Roberts received another report of victory. The Council's main communication hub had fallen, cutting off their ability to coordinate their remaining forces. "Phase 3 can begin," he announced to his staff. "All ships, prepare for the final push to the Council's home system." But the Council still had one card to play. They called in their elite guard, ships that had never known defeat. 1,000 black warships gathered to defend their capital. Commander Lisa's fleet met them head-on. "Show them what Earth's vengeance looks like," she ordered. The battle was fierce but short. Council ships, even their best, couldn't match what humanity had developed in 15 years of secret preparation. Their rigid tactics failed against human creativity and determination. As the elite guard fell, more rebellions erupted. The Council's hold on power had relied on appearing invincible. Now that illusion was shattered. "You don't understand what you're doing," Monitor Smith warned from his cell. The Council maintained peace for millennia. Dr. Allen visited him again. "Peace through oppression isn't peace at all. It's just delayed rebellion. You taught us that." By the end of the week, 3/4 of Council space had declared independence. Species that had been enemies under Council rule now worked together, united by their desire for freedom. Commander Lisa's fleet regrouped for the final assault. The Council's home system was heavily defended, but their enemies were no longer just humans. Ships from a dozen liberated species joined the attack force. "All ships, prepare for hyperspace jump," Lisa ordered. The Council tried to break humanity. Instead, we broke their chains. Now we break their power forever. The combined fleet jumped to light speed, carrying the revenge of not just Earth, but every species the Council had ever oppressed. The final battle was about to begin. The Council's home system was a fortress of artificially constructed rings around a massive red star. For 10,000 years, no enemy had ever reached it. Until now. Commander Lisa stood on her flagship's bridge as hundreds of ships dropped out of hyperspace. Human vessels led the assault, followed by ships from 24 liberated species. Their combined fleet darkened the sky. "Look at their defenses," her tactical officer said. "They'd gathered everything they have left." The Council's remaining forces formed a defensive wall around their capital. Thousands of ships, all that remained of their once mighty fleet, prepared for their final stand. "This is the High Speaker," a transmission boomed across space. "You have destroyed our order, murdered our peace. We will not surrender to primitives and slaves." Commander Lisa keyed her own transmitter. "You never created peace. You created fear. And now you're going to learn what real fear feels like." The battle began. Council ships fired their weapons, but human shields, improved versions of their own technology, held strong. The nanobots had already infected their defense systems, leaving them vulnerable. "All ships, execute attack pattern Omega," Lisa ordered. Her fleet split into 3 groups, using tactics that the Council's rigid military had never seen before. Their formations broke apart under the assault. In the Rocky Mountain Command Center, General Roberts watched the battle unfold. "Send in the second wave," he ordered. More ships jumped in from hyperspace, carrying special weapons designed by Dr. Allen's team. "Their capital's shields are failing," Dr. Allen reported, studying his screens. "The nanobots have reached their central systems." The Council's mighty rings began to crack. Ships from liberated worlds struck with centuries of vengeance behind their attacks. The Council's defenses, designed to fight traditional battles, couldn't adapt to so many different fighting styles at once. "My lords," a Council commander's panicked voice transmitted, "we can't hold them. Their weapons, their tactics, they're like nothing we've ever—" His transmission cut off as his ship exploded. The Council's defensive line shattered. Human ships led the charge through the gap, heading straight for the capital. The High Speaker's palace floated at the system's heart, a massive structure of crystal and metal that had stood for millennia. Now it shook as human weapons struck its walls. "Surrender," Commander Lisa broadcast. "Surrender and face justice for your crimes." "Never," the High Speaker raged. "We are the Council. We are eternal. We err." Lisa's flagship fired its main gun. A beam of energy, based on Council technology, but enhanced by human innovation, cut through the palace's remaining defenses. The mighty seat of Council power began to break apart. "All ships, cease fire," Lisa ordered. "Prepare boarding teams. Take them alive. They need to answer for what they've done." Human Marines, joined by warriors from other liberated species, stormed the palace. The Council members who had ruled the galaxy through fear for so long now felt fear themselves. The High Speaker and his inner circle were found in their emergency bunker, trying to activate an escape portal. But Dr. Allen's nanobots had already disabled it. "Impossible," the High Speaker whispered as human soldiers surrounded him. "We were supreme. We were perfect." "That was your mistake," Commander Lisa said, entering the bunker. "Perfect things can't evolve. But humanity never stops evolving." In the next hours, Council members were arrested across the system. Their databases were seized, revealing centuries of crimes against countless species. Their mighty empire, built on oppression and fear, collapsed in a single day. General Roberts received the official surrender in the Council's own throne room. "In the name of Earth and all species you enslaved, your reign is over." As news spread across the galaxy, celebrations erupted on thousands of worlds. Species that had been enemies under Council rule now celebrated together, united in their newfound freedom. Monitor Smith, watching from his cell as his leaders were brought in chains to Earth, finally understood. "You weren't just fighting for revenge," he said to Dr. Allen. "You were fighting for everyone." "That's what you never understood about humans," Dr. Allen replied. We don't just fight for ourselves. We fight for what's right. The Council had fallen, but the real work of building a free galaxy was just beginning. 1 year after the Council's fall, Earth hosted the first Galactic Assembly of Free Worlds. The same underground chambers that had hidden humanity's resistance now held representatives from over 1,000 liberated species. Commander Lisa, now Admiral Lisa, stood at the podium where once the Council had demanded Earth's surrender. The chamber looked different now. No thrones, no displays of power, just seats arranged in circles where all species sat as equals. 20 years ago, she began, the Council thought they had conquered Earth. They didn't realize they were creating their own worst nightmare. But today, we're not here to talk about revenge. We're here to build something new. Dr. Allen presented the first item of business, sharing advanced technology with all worlds. The Council kept knowledge as a weapon, he explained. We're making it a tool for everyone. The changes across the galaxy were remarkable. Freed from Council restrictions, species that had been enemies for centuries now worked together. Trade routes reopened. Cultural exchanges flourished. The galaxy was healing. General Roberts, retiring from military service, watched ships from dozens of worlds dock at Earth's new spaceport. Sometimes I still can't believe we did it, he said to Dr. Allen. We did more than win a war, Dr. Allen replied. We proved that unity is stronger than oppression. The former Council worlds were transforming. Their mighty rings and palaces were converted into universities and trade centers. Where once fear ruled, now cooperation and innovation thrived. Monitor Smith, granted amnesty in exchange for helping with the transition, watched in amazement. You've created more progress in 1 year than the Council did in a century, he admitted to Admiral Lisa. Because we're not trying to control it, she explained. We're letting it grow naturally. Earth became known not as the world that destroyed the Council, but as the world that freed the galaxy. Human ships now carried teachers and traders instead of weapons. The underground factories that had built warships now produced vessels for exploration. In the new Galactic Assembly, every species had a voice. Problems were solved through discussion and cooperation, not force. The Council's old archives revealed countless wonders they had hidden. Medical cures, scientific discoveries, ancient knowledge. All of this was locked away, Dr. Allen told the Assembly, because the Council feared what would happen if people could think for themselves. They never understood that freedom leads to greater achievements than control ever could. The former mining worlds flourished as their people reclaimed their destinies. The species that had been used as slave labor developed their own cultures again. Art, music, and literature that had been suppressed for centuries returned. Admiral Lisa's fleet still patrolled space, but with a new mission, protecting freedom instead of enforcing rule. When they found new civilizations, they came as friends, not conquerors. We remember what first contact should have been like, she told her crews. We make sure it's done right this time. On the anniversary of the Council's fall, Earth hosted a celebration. Ships from across the galaxy filled the sky, their lights creating patterns of unity and hope. Species that had once been enemies now celebrated together. General Roberts watched from his home in the rebuilt New York. You know what the Council's biggest mistake was? He asked Dr. Allen. They thought crushing the human spirit would make us submit. Instead, it made us stronger. The galaxy entered a golden age. Free trade and open knowledge led to advances the Council had never imagined possible. Worlds that had been stripped bare were restored. Peoples that had been divided were reunited. In the Galactic Assembly's main hall, a simple plaque told the story. From Earth's darkest hour came the galaxy's brightest dawn. Monitor Smith, watching young aliens and humans study together at a new university, finally understood the true difference. The Council ruled through fear, he said. Earth leads through hope. As ships from 1,000 worlds jumped through hyperspace, carrying ideas and dreams instead of weapons and orders, the galaxy had learned its lesson. True power doesn't come from control. It comes from freedom. And it all began because the Council made one simple mistake. They thought they could break humanity's spirit. Instead, they set it free. The dawn of a new age had arrived.